Okay, so here's number 3, which is on the part 1 of the graphing rational functions notes. So the first thing I want to do is factor this. So the numerator does factor. It's going to factor into x minus 1 times x minus 3 all over x minus 2. So when I go to look for my wholes, there's not a common factor, so there are none. I have 2 roots. They are 3. My vertical asymptotes, x equals 2. Tangency togetherness. Remember, we are looking for this little squared, should kind of help give that away. We're looking for even powered factors in numerator or denominator. I don't have either one, so that is a none. My end behavior, my horizontal asymptote, it is top heavy, so it is none. And it is only top heavy by 1, which means I do have a slant asymptote. In this case here, since this is a linear binomial, I can use synthetic division. So we use this right here, 1, negative 4, 3. Now it doesn't apply in this case, but remember, you might need a placeholder. Don't forget your placeholders, because a few of you are doing those things. This gives me 1, and then 2, negative 2, negative 4, negative 1, not that that matters. So this right here gives me my slant asymptote of y equals x minus 2. And remember, slant is also oblique. My y-intercept, much easier to get it from this form, because it should knock out all my zeros. It's going to be, all my x's rather, so 0, negative 3 halves. Okay, there you go. Then my number line here. So on my number line, I put my roots and my asymptotes. So I got 1, 2, and 3. So that's going to give me, you have to look at your own factored form because I can't show you this and that. So if I plug in a 0, because that's less than 1, then it's going to give me negative, 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 which is overall negative. Between 1 and 2, I'll plug in 1.5, which will give me positive, negative, negative. So overall, that is positive. Between 2 and 3, if I use 2.5, that is going to give me positive, negative, positive, overall negative. If I plug in a 4, positive, 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 overall is positive. So remember, this tells me what's happening on my graph. So from negative infinity to 1, it's negative, and then it's positive here, and then it's negative here, and then it's positive here, if we think of this as the x-axis. So the first thing I'm going to do on my graph is graph my asymptotes. So my vertical ones, I only have 1, so it's at x equals 2. Just do it in the highlighter so it's a little thicker. You can see it better on my graph. And then I have my slant or oblique asymptote at y equals x minus 2. So start here. My slope is 1. So it looks something like this. Right, so those are my 2 asymptotes there. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to plot my points that I have. I have a root at 1. And at 3, and then my y-intercept is 0, negative 3 halves. Kind of looks like it touches the asymptote, but it doesn't because the asymptote goes right there. I just made it thick. All right, so I know from negative infinity to 1, it's negative, so it's coming up this way. And then when I get to 1, it becomes positive all the way up here. And then I know I have to start, since I'm going up this way, I have to come from down here since I don't have any togetherness. It's going to come up and be negative from 2 to 3 and then be positive. So I'm pretty confident I've got the shape of the graph. It's just tricky to draw it on the board without it looking terribly bad. Something like that. And then something like that on this side. And I've got all of my pieces taken care of. There shouldn't be anything here or here because this takes me up to 2 and then on the other side at 2. Okay, so there is number 3.